Hey everybody, I'm so excited to introduce you to my friend Toni today. Toni, hey, how's it
Hi
going?
there. How are you? I'm so
So good.
excited.
Oh my goodness, I've been looking forward to your Becoming story since the moment we scheduled it. I'm
Oh
so
my
pumped.
goodness.
And
I
I've had
love
the
that.
privilege of hearing bits and pieces of your story and Becoming Me.TV. I'm so excited for you to hear Toni's story and get to know her. So let's just kick it off by hearing, who is Toni?
Who is Toni? Okay, I am a wife. I am a sister. I am a Christian. I've been a believer for really as long as I can remember. And I am a PR strategist. I've been in public relations for many, many years and ran my own public relations agency for
Wow.
10 years. Up until the end of last year, where I was, really, I look back now, I can say it was the Lord moving me from one season into another, but I can't exactly say that I went very willingly. I took the trip very willingly. um, but I'm now an author. I'm a new author. I just wrote a
Yay!
book. I've got it right
Yes.
here.
Oh, and it's
Yay!
so good too.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you
it.
so much. Thank you so much. So that in a nutshell is who I am and who I am now. And I'm just enjoying being in this new season, a place of real surrender because I don't
Mm,
know where it's going to lead. I've always been a very strategic, very planned, goal getting type of person. And God sort of put that on pause in my life right now. And it's just saying, trust me in a new kind of way. And it's actually really exciting. It's not as, I'm not as scared as I thought I would be to be going in a direction and really just kind of allowing him to order my steps every day without having a destination in mind.
wow.
But it's a pretty powerful place to be in.
That's incredible. Man, your journey is just so inspiring, so cool. And your book is incredible. And for all of you watching, we'll have the link to Toni's book in this post so you can go purchase it.
Okay.
I've had the privilege to look at it and it's so good. So
Oh,
good.
thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
I'm so excited for you. Well, I've heard bits and pieces of your story, and I would love for you to right now just unpack your story and your journey, how you've become who you are today.
Okay. Well, I have always been a pretty ambitious, pretty confident person in that I just believe in the possibilities. I've always been one of those people that I decide I'm going to do something and I'm going to go after it wholeheartedly and believe God all the way, to get there. And I've always landed where I wanted to. I've always been able to fix the problems, especially as a PR person. I launched my public relations agency in the middle of the recession, actually at the beginning of the recession, and we succeeded and did extremely well.
Wow.
I wasn't even nervous about doing that. Part of it was, faith. The other part was I just didn't even know what to make of the concept of recession. That was just sort of recession smashing. I'm starting a company. We'll be great. Very naive, but we did very well. We were an award-winning agency, a lot of big industry awards over the years. Our clients were mostly in the hospitality, tourism, and lifestyle space, and we had some education, we had some fashion, we had some tech. So we had a nice mix of businesses and really had a great time. I had a small team. We had a beautiful creative office space. But somewhere around year 8, I found myself not enjoying what I was doing anymore. And I didn't know what to do with that awareness, because who grows a company and then you decide you don't want it anymore, especially if you don't have any plans for what's next.
Right.
And to give up my company, to walk away from my company, really, quite honestly, felt like a loser move. I mean, it just felt like, are you kidding me? You don't even have anywhere to go. And then we had a series of entrepreneurial challenges that aren't unlike most, small businesses, but because I had no more passion about what I was doing, I didn't have the fight in me to combat those challenges. I just found myself rendered to a place of hopelessness and low confidence, no self-esteem. I felt like I was in somebody else's body because I couldn't turn things around. I couldn't find a love for what I was doing. I felt like every day there was an attack and something was going wrong. It just had me in a really, really dark place. And we had a really beautiful creative office space that I used to love to go to. And I found myself peeling myself out of bed in the morning to go into that place that I once found so much joy. And that was, it's a beautiful space. But I was just in a real place of darkness, and I didn't know what to do with it. And so I decided to move out of the office space and to move home, to scale the business way back. Didn't know what I was going to do next. Kept a few clients, only kept contract employees. And then while I was at home one day, I was walking through the living room and my husband was watching Muhammad Ali. And I'm not a boxing fan, but I was captivated by his confidence. I couldn't understand, how is it that this man had confidence even in the face of defeat? How did he have confidence even when he was stricken with Parkinson's disease and couldn't really speak? But if you think about it, any images that you think of him, you envision confidence. And so I was just captivated thinking, how in the world did this man maintain his confidence consistently? And even people that know him personally said that's who he was. And so then a couple of clips later, I see Boondini Brown, who is his corner man, his hype man, right before Ali is going into a fight. And Boondini Brown is reminding him of all of his victories and all of his successes and all of his knockouts, and that he is the greatest. And it was such a moment of hype and very exciting. And I thought, well, if we all had a hype man reminding us of all of our victories, we'd be that confident as well.
Yes.
So in that moment, I thought, I need to make myself a hype book. I need to sit down and write down my successes and my achievements, because I was in a place of listening to what I call that negative rhetoric, the little haters in your head that want to tell you how you failed and you made the wrong decision and you should have done this differently. And so I sat down and I started writing down, everything, whether it was a little goal achieved or a big one, things from running the LA Marathon to launching my company in a recession, to some of the campaigns that we won, to some of the pro bono work that we had done for our nonprofit clients. And within 2 days of doing that, Emily, can I just tell you, there was this ascension of confidence, this joy that rose up in me that was bursting. I couldn't even explain how happy I was. And also, I had this new perception of myself that was one that made me very proud of who I was and very happy. I was now looking at myself basically through my success lens. And so a girlfriend texted me during that time and she said, "What you doing?" And I said, "I'm making a hype book. You need to make one for yourself." She said, "What's that?" I said, "It's when you track all of your success. Just get a blank journal and just start writing them down." And she said, "That's a great idea. Everybody needs one of those." I said, "I know. You need to do it." And she's like, "No, Toni, everybody needs one and you need to write it." And I thought, oh. And so that put me on a 9-month journey to writing this, creating this book that is a guided motivational journal that walks you through the process of taking time to reflect on your achievements, to track them, and then to celebrate yourself. Because I think we are, especially as women, we seldom take the time to celebrate ourselves. We'll celebrate everybody around us, But when do we stop to say to ourselves, great job, even if it's just a happy dance in the middle of your
Yeah.
kitchen, right? Or a big trip or vacation, whatever it is, finding some way to commemorate those things that you're really proud of, those things become more readily available in our consciousness and our memory and our thoughts about ourselves, as opposed to those things that, our mistakes, our setbacks, our failures, mistreatment that we tend to remunerate over, and we really think way too much on those things. And because we give those so much time, then we start seeing ourselves through that lens. And so this book is really about reversing that and giving your achievements that space in the forefront of your thought, and therefore looking at yourself through your success lens.
That is so cool. I absolutely love it. Absolutely
Oh.
love it. I love your journey and your story, and just how something so that could have been such a major setback, something
Right.
that could have held you captive there, it became really a launching pad for where God was taking you. And little did you know, he
Right.
was using that as that launching pad. But that is amazing. And, bouncing off of, where you just landed and what you were encouraging all of us with, if we were sitting at your favorite coffee shop, having some coffee together, what would you say to another woman on her own becoming journey to encourage and empower her?
Oh, I would say, when I would ask, when was the last time you celebrated yourself? And I would say, when was the last time you took some time to really think about your accomplishments, your achievements? And I would say, when was the last time you decided to write those things down so that you could remember them? Those are milestones. They're like the stones of remembrance. It's those things that we want to remember, because what it does is it allows us to see ourselves the way God sees us. Yeah. I believe so much that we are so much more a culmination of our successes than we are than our failures. But for some reason, we think about, those setbacks far more than we think about the successes. And the other thing too, that I would say that success is relative. I've got 6 rules of engagement in the book, and one of the rules is you set the parameter of success. You set that benchmark. For me, success at some points, we're winning a big account for the company. There were days when I was in that dark season, and that dark season lasted for 2 years. Wow. 2 years I was in that, and I didn't tell anybody about it because I felt like a loser. And so I suffered in silence. So I would say, don't suffer in silence. And I was allowing the rest of the world to dictate what success is for me. Now I realize, getting out of bed on those days when I didn't want to and walking into that office that I didn't like anymore, that was success. Yeah. And so if I'm ever faced with that kind of day again, I know you can do this. You can totally do this. You can get up, you can go on. And you'll succeed because you've done it before. And so I would definitely say those things for certain, to any woman that I have. And now it's what I talk about. It's a confidence building journey. This is where we feed our confidence, we nurture it. We walk in the confidence, basically the confidence of the Lord, but it is seeing ourselves as confident people because he's equipped us to do things. I had one girlfriend that said, that she has her hype book. It's called My Hype Book. Did I say the name of it? It's called My Hype Book. You can see there. And yes. And she said that she called me one day and she's like, I'm so excited. I said, why? And she said, I checked everything off of my to-do list and I got the kids in bed on time. Yes. Yes. So I thought, I love that because in her life, that was a significant victory. Yeah. And it is a significant victory. That's the very thing that makes her feel good about herself. It's not what society says. I learned a really good lesson about that too. And it's one of the reasons why I decided to put that rule in the book, is because when I started the company, I decided we're going to make $1 million in our first year because that's what society says success is for a small business. And 18 months in, we hadn't made $1 million. And so my controller called the office, and I was having a meltdown at my desk. I mean, literally having a meltdown. And she's like, what's going on? And I said, I should have listened to everybody that said I shouldn't have started this company. We didn't make our $1 million in our first year, and it's now 18 months in, and we're not there. And she's like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no. And she just sort of laughed at me. And I could not believe, she's a friend of mine too. I'm like, how are you laughing? What are you laughing at? And she said, first of all, it is a recession. Companies are laying people off in droves. They are cutting their budgets, especially their PR and marketing budgets. And you are a thriving company in the middle of this recession. You have a talented team of individuals. You have clients, hotels, destinations calling you, asking you to represent them during this season. And you're crying because you did not make $1 million in your first year. Cry me a river. I thought, I can't believe you. You don't understand. And she said, slow your roll, Oprah. You'll get there. But right now, you're fine. And for years, that was a bone of contention with us. Because I'd say, I can't believe you didn't have any compassion for me. And she'd say, I'm not going to have any compassion for you because you were doing really well when all of the people around you weren't. People who had been in business many years before you. And it wasn't until I was sitting in my living room floor writing my own book of achievements, my own hype book, that I realized I missed an opportunity to really celebrate because God was providing for us and making a way for us in a season where very few companies were making it. And so I'm a very big advocate of shifting how you look at things and seeing really the real growth, the real progress, the real level of achievement, and let it be about what's success to you and not what everybody else says success should be.
Oh, I love that. And that's such good advice too.
Yeah.
Where can everybody get their own My Hype book?
Okay, so it is available at myhypebook.com, and you can purchase it there. And then we'll obviously, you can see behind me, I'm shipping them out. We launched on Kickstarter, the crowdfunding platform last month. Wow. And we not only met our goal, but we exceeded our goals. So it was really great for me because I wanted to make sure that this was something that resonated with other people as well. So to have such a great outcome, I knew it was something that I think people really get and they need, because I think we just don't take the time to see ourselves through our success lens enough. Yeah. So you can order it at myhypebook.com, and then we'll get one right out to you. It's a great book. So it is a guided motivational journal to explain it. It's a book that talks about success, but it really causes you to take some time to take a look at yourself, see yourself for your achievements, your attributes, your abilities, your qualities. And then the second half of the book is the journaling section, and it's divided into 6 categories so that you can be very specific about how you write about your achievements. So it's major milestones, significant victories, health and wellness achievements, good and charitable deeds, life adventures, and lessons learned. And I thought it was important to put that in there because things don't always go the way we want them to, but how do we take from that what we are better for? Let's say you were in a bad breakup. Well, now you know the characteristics of a mate that you don't want, for yourself, or aren't a good fit for you. Or let's say you got laid off, from a job and you really weren't happy there in the first place. Then what are the characteristics of that company that don't resonate with your personality? So it's really just turning those setbacks into really victories for you, because you're all the wiser as a result of it. But that's the gist of the book, and it's a really nice, it's a pretty
Yeah.
comprehensive, book, and it's got a lot of nice,
Beautiful.
fun quotes and things in it that
So
let's see,
cool.
a lot of nice, fun quotes and things in it that inspire you and
Oh,
sort
it's
of
so
keep you
pretty.
going. Thank
I
you. I'm
love
so
it.
proud of it.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Like, this is such a big deal. And for all of you watching, we'll have the link in this post. So it's easy. You can click
Yes.
it. You can get your very own My Hype book and start celebrating who God made you to be. Because what I love
Yes.
about, everything that you shared in your journey, if we don't take the time to
Right.
celebrate our victories and our learnings, I mean, we're not really able to take another step on our becoming journey.
Exactly.
Um,
It
so,
becomes fuel when you,
yeah.
as I looked at my achievements that I wrote out over those 2 days, it became fuel for the next thing that I want for this,
Yes.
So when we are able to look at that, and here's the other thing too, is when we look at ourselves for our achievements and our accomplishments, we see ourselves the way God sees us.
Yes.
And, when he looks at us, he's not looking at us. I mean, he sees our flaws, but he loves us in spite of those things and sees us for all the good that he created us to be. And so I think that's one thing that I really love about this book. There's a line in the book that resonates with a lot of people. And because when I was reading over a few chapters, a few sections of the book, just kind of when I was writing it to see how people felt about it, whenever I'd read this one particular line,
Mm.
I'd get sort of a, huh. And the line is, the presence of humility should not mean the absence of personal accolade. And it's true. We should be happy about celebrating ourselves and patting ourselves on the back and saying, great job. This book isn't about ego, even though I think there's good ego. It's not about building that, but it's about really looking inward for that sense of natural inspiration, letting God do the supernatural.
Yeah.
But when we are equipped with a view of ourselves the way he sees us, we can better do those other things that he's called us to do.
Oh, so good. I would like literally drop the mic. Amazing. Man, Toni, thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey and your book with all of us. I'm glad that your friend challenged you to make this a book everyone could have.
I know it. I know it.
So thank you to her too. But for all of you watching, please make sure to connect with Toni in all the links in this post so you can remember to encourage and celebrate yourself.
Yes.
But Toni, thank you. You are incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing. I absolutely love Becoming Me TV. It's a phenomenal platform. It's so encouraging. I love listening to the testimonies and the interviews of the women that you have on here. So it's honestly a privilege for me to be a part of it.
Well, thank you.